That was Pentagon's double press conference for you. Now we are going to continue deep delving into the situation with our guests. Joining us live from Bursa, Turkey, is political analyst Mustafa Caner to discuss the latest situation from the Strait of Hormuz. Mr. Caner, thank you so much for sparing your time and joining us here on A News. Before we deep delve into Strait of Hormuz situation, I don't know if you had time to listen to the press conference, but let's start with that. Actually, Pete Hackett said that they're just only starting and they're just hitting Iran. He said, quote unquote, they're hitting Iran as they fall. And it's not a fair game, it's not a fair fight, and it wasn't supposed to be a fair fight, he said. He was really describing it really violently, rather violently, and he said that it's going to continue until regime is gone, basically. So what is your take on the latest statements from Pentagon?
Yes, first of all, thank you for having me. Pete Hackett's style is really like this. I mean, he tries to portray a military victory image. He tries to establish a military victory narrative. However, there are certain questions in people's minds. For example, first of all, what was the justification for this, war? Why did America start this war? Why they were engaged in this war? And answers really, to this question, answers really are different from various US officials. Everyone is presenting different case. I mean, Pete Hackett says previously, he said that this is not about regime change, and they will go as far as they can. They will destroy the whole, structure of the country. They are not, intending to establish a viable political system and, change the existing one with a new democratic one. Pete Hackett formerly said that they don't care about democracy, they don't care about installing a new viable political structure. And it resonates today also in his speech. He portrays a superpower. He, paints a picture, and in this picture, the United States is a power that cannot be, beaten up by other powers. So they're gonna win this war, and they are just at the start, they are just in the beginning. So this is Pete Hackett. On the other hand, Marco Rubio said the other day that they were just pulled into this war after Israel. He presented a case that Israel was going to attack Iran, so Iran in return was going to attack the United States. That's why the United States engaged in this war, so preemptively to stop Iran's possible attacks against the United States. This logic actually suffers from, many logical dimension, actually. This is not fitting to, international law or any kind of, consistent, concurrent, cohesive narrative pattern. And on the other hand, President Trump is saying that they are looking for regime change. So three different narratives here about why the United States engaged this war in the first place. So they are not able to present a consistent justification for this war. So they can claim that militarily they are, the superior side. They can do that. They can, destroy the military infrastructure inside Iran. They can do that, but without any, exit plan, without any off-ramp, without any strategic aim. I don't see what the future of this war, will look like. So the U.S. needs a tangible plan to resume these operations. And on the other hand, many sources claim that the U.S. stockpiles are actually depleting. So they are running out of, missiles, interception, ammunition, etc. So the reinforcements on their way. Many experts actually calculate that the war is going to take, much more time than planned in the first place, because Donald Trump said in the beginning, he mentioned, days long war, like 4 days, 5 days, and now they are talking about weeks. I don't know, after a couple of weeks, about the, duration of this war, what are they going to talk about? It is unclear right now. So I see a puzzling picture. And also another part is the geopolitical jigsaw. As you know, Gulf countries are being targeted by Iranian missiles and drones, and this adds another layer to the, complex character of this war, actually. So, and on the other side, if you want, let's switch the other topic, the Strait of Hormuz, because it's right now it's very well connected to the strategy of Iran and how the U.S. is responding that strategical moves from Iranian side. As you know, Iran closed this strait, have closed this, narrow waterway for a couple of days, and the economical burden and the cost of this now is calculable, but in the near and in the long future, maybe in the long run, it will be beyond imagination, because it's such a strategical choke point in terms of energy supply. And these energy sources are not only going to Asian markets, they are also going to European markets. The 30% of the globally traded crude oil and 20% of LNG pass through this waterway, and also 20% of world's oil consumption also passes through that waterway. And we are already feeling the negative effects of this closure, because when we look at the financial markets or energy prices, the crude oil prices increased, LNG prices increased, and it also sends shockwaves to the financial markets, because these happenings actually are very well connected to many dimensions of the global economy, like transportation, etc. Many dimensions are quite connected to, these developments, and the negative outputs of this development is, still debatable in terms of its scope and its extent. So the Strait of Hormuz issue is really important, but it's not alone, actually. There are other possible scenarios in addition to Strait of Hormuz in terms of global economy, like Bab el-Mandeb Strait. The Ansarullah group in Yemen, they announced that they could close also the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, and it will, if they do, it will create another dimension to the global economic systems structure, because the transport as a transportation route, Bab el-Mandeb Strait is really important, and many commodities, many material are transported through that strait to European markets. So European countries actually are suffering from this economic negative effects, and also they will suffer more if this war continues. So the economic side is really important. And let's get back to the geopolitical dimension of the issue. And as you know, recently NATO systems intercepted a missile fired from Iran, and it was about to enter Turkish airspace. So this development is a really shocking one, and it shows the potential that this war could actually spill over other areas. Um, Although Turkey is really careful about protecting its airspace and sovereignty. There are many, scenarios. There are many risky scenarios, and Turkey is also preparing for these scenarios. And the Defense Ministry announced that Turkey has every right to protect its airspace. So this was a fresh development, happened today, just 1 or 2 hours ago. And also Gulf countries, Gulf states, they are being targeted by Iranian missiles. Iraq, also Erbil area, also has been the target of Iranian missiles. Jordan also. So the whole region actually engaged in this war, maybe not voluntarily, maybe not directly, but the war affects every place in the region. So that's why Pete Hackett and other U.S. officials remarks, I don't think that they are very productive, because the only positive and productive way is to end this war immediately and functionalize the democratic and diplomatic track. Um, the sides should talk to each other, maybe through intermediaries such as Turkey. So the diplomatic table should, be kept active, uh, because otherwise, if this war continues, uh, this war will damage every actor in the region, and including the United States, and indirectly, maybe European countries also, and indirectly the whole globe, because, as you know, the economic systems, economic structures are integrated to each other. We are living in a world has been globalized economic wise. So that's why this war, actually considering um, the geography of this war, is being taken place. So we could, surely say that it is affecting the whole globe negatively, and there is no any possible positive outcome from this war. I don't think that the US officials are aware of this. So they just, targeted the leadership of Iran. But the problem here, they are not, only state leaders or, administrative officers. For example, Ali Khamenei was also a religious leader. He was Marjei Taklit, the source of emulation, and it's the highest rank in Shia religion, Shia sect. So that means the repercussions of this action actually goes beyond the Iranian borders. In Pakistan, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Bahrain, there are millions of Shia population, Shia people leave those areas, and they had accepted, some of them, not all of them, but all of them actually was, respecting Khamenei, maybe not following him as a religious scholar, but respecting him, and many of them actually were following him as a religious scholar. So this action could easily trigger a religious war because, the United States just killed a religious leader. And considering Shia communities' culture, actually, their religious culture and their political culture, how they constituted their religious narrative, and how, the martyrdom culture is important to them. So that's why it could trigger a religious war. And if it happens, it's really difficult to contain this war. So it's like opening the Pandora's box. So I don't think that the U.S. officials are aware of the scope of this war's possible, outcomes.
Well, this is a quite insightful situation, and then you described it so well. Thank you so much for that. But I also want to ask you about another aspect of the situations, because as you know, the Iran's missiles, some of the missiles were coming across to the Turkish airspace, and they were destroyed by NATO defense systems. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, exactly. It's a really new development happened today. It's a fresh development. So there are many, scenarios here, and there are many questions in my mind. I mean, one of them is, did Iran really target the Turkish soil, a target inside Turkish soil, or was it a missile just, deviated from its original route, original trajectory? So we should wait an explanation from Iranian side. I always, advise to be cautious uh, about these developments, especially during war times, especially during these times, because these emergency situations, these are really, open to be exploited by some actors whose intentions or whose agenda could be different than, they are seen. So that's why I, propose a cautionary stance against it. We should wait for a plausible, a consistent explanation from Iranian side. They should, make their case and convince the Turkish side, because according to the defense minister's, announcement, the missile was just about to enter Turkish airspace. So it's a very dangerous situation, and NATO systems intercepted that ballistic missile. So it's really for Turkey's security and, national interests, could be a breakthrough if Iran doesn't present a consistent explanation. So we should wait for the explanation. And as I've read before this, broadcast, our Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan contacted with Abbas Arakci, the Foreign Minister of Iran, and conveyed our side's, Turkish side's, actually anger about this issue, because we warned many times the Iranian side that Turkish side, Turkey, is, willing to mediate between Iran and the United States, and we have tried to prevent this war from happening, and we don't want another war in our region, and certainly we don't want this war to spread over other territories, including Turkey. But if Turkish state, if Turkish state faces such a dangerous situation, such a risky development, of course, it's going to, respond. And also including in the defense minister's announcement and statement, it was clear that any aggression, any animosity against Turkish airspace will not go unanswered. So Turkey is fully prepared to defend its territory and territorial integrity and airspace. Turkey is ready to do that, although doesn't want to be in a position to do that. But if faces such a challenge or an attack, Turkey is capable of defending its own territory. I think we can summarize the situation as this. We should wait an explanation, an official statement from Iranian side. Prior to this development, actually for myself personally, I haven't read or heard anything specifically against Turkey from Iranian official statements. So I don't think that Iran purposefully, deliberately would target Turkish soil, but we should, be cautious, be careful. This is wartime. Turkey is prepared for all kinds of scenarios, and we're gonna follow the developments.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sparing your time and joining us here on A News. Of course, we are going to see how it is going to unfold in the upcoming days, but what you have highlighted is important. I must highlight it once again, is that it has started off as a couple days long war, but now we are talking about weeks, if not months. If not, it is going to drag on for a while, but we are going to see how it is going to unfold in the upcoming days and hoping for the best. Again, regardless of everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And with that, we are going to conclude the news for this hour, and we will continue with more updates and more information on the top of the hour. So stay tuned.